So I live in a 10-story apartment building and I only pay $50 in rent. Does that make you mad? Does that make you want to punch me in my face? Does that make you shiver in your boots? I live in a 2-bedroom for my family of 6 and I only pay $50 in rent with your tax dollars. So I live in a 10-story apartment.
Did you not hear what I said? I don't have the fucking money right now.
The caption says, tenant hasn't paid rent in 3 months.
Did you not hear what I said? I don't have the fucking money right now. Hello?
Hey, Mike, do you have a few minutes? Just wanted to follow up on the rent.
Nah, I'm a little busy right now.
It's only going to take a couple of minutes, I promise.
Fine, what do you want?
I just wanted to see when you were planning to pay the rent. You've missed the last 3 months.
I already told you. You ain't getting no money until you get me a TV.
Mike, I've already ordered it. It's been shipped as we speak. I sent you the tracking number a couple of days ago. So, how do you want to move things forward with the rent?
I don't have the money right now.
But you've been saying this for the past 2 months. Things can't go on like this.
Did you not hear what I said? I don't have the fucking money right now.
I'm not asking you to pay all 3 months right now. I just need you to meet me halfway.
How the hell do you think we're going to do that?
You can pay me half a month, and then we can discuss a payment plan for the remaining amount.
How about you mind your own fucking goddamn business and leave me the hell alone? Did you not
put a finger down if the father of your children is such a horrible, nasty human being that you don't even have the words to describe him? I don't even know.
Before we get into it, she doesn't have a caption, but her description says, I'm going to be homeless with no job and I'm trying so hard and everything is against me. I just need some kind words and support, please.
Where to start, but if anybody has any advice on what to do from this point, please tell me. So I'm sorry if this video is a little long.
Yeah, get off social media and stop trashing your baby daddy and stop telling everybody your business. If that's the advice, if you want some advice, that's the best advice. You don't get emotional and you don't get to the highest capacity of your emotions and then decide to pick up a camera and put it on social media. And you did this. See, we have to always understand the order of things. And when I mean the order of things, I mean like it's like a cognitive dissonance that she just got emotional and it was a spur of the moment thing. And then as soon as she pressed in recording, it just shot onto social media. No. She was emotional and she was doing this. Then she pressed in recording. Then she had to go to her video files, upload it to TikTok. From TikTok, then upload it in there. Then she had to type out this description. Did she put tags on here too? She put tags on here. So put some hashtags. It says hashtag please, hashtag taxes, hashtag I'm screwed, hashtag I'm broken, hashtag broken. So you no longer have the defense that this was emotional and you didn't know what you was doing. Very intentional, very calculated. So now while we're watching this, what we need to be wondering is, okay, what is the intention behind this? Because it wasn't emotional. There is an intention behind this. Y'all, before we get back into it, if you could like the video, I greatly appreciate it. Only takes a second, and it actually helps out more than you know. And also if you could hype, and before we get into the main story as well.
And I'm all emotional and ugly crying on the internet. But like, I'm so blown back right now that I don't know what else to do. Okay, so I know I've came on here before and I've said a couple of things, but just a really quick backstory. 13 years, 3 kids, moved into a house last year in November, signed a contract that we were going to buy it and pay $1,500 a month. And we were responsible for everything in the house. A month later, he left, met a girl at work, walked out. best thing that ever happened to me, but like the way he just goes about everything is so fucked up. So last year at tax time, he claimed all 3 of our kids and kept every penny. When he left, he wouldn't help me with the kids, so I lost my job, wasn't working, and then he took all of the taxes. So there was nothing I could do about it. I got a good job, tried to work with him, and then I lost that job because he no longer wanted to take them overnights, and that's what I needed. So, lost that job. Here it is tax time, and the house that we're living in, because I haven't been able to afford the $1,500 a month, I haven't been able to afford any of the stuff that needed to be done to the house. I am struggling, and now that I have childcare, I can't get a job. Like, I can't find a job. Okay. Anyway, I've gone to temp services. I've found out I'm rehireable at my last job, which is a really good job. So I've been pretty much annoying the shit out of them for like 2 weeks now. I just went in there and they wouldn't let me talk to nobody. Like, it was just crazy. Like, it was weird. Then again, like I said, went to a temp service. There's nothing.
What does I just found out I'm rehireable at my last job mean? Why wouldn't you be rehireable? You're rehireable. You should be rehirable at any job you've ever worked. What does that mean? I feel like a lot of people are grasping for straws. And here's what I mean. Like, I'll see people, they're like, I have this interview coming up and I'm just hoping it goes through. It's that people got a lot of wishful thinking going on. Okay, you're rehireable at your last job. That's cool, but don't stop. Do not put all your eggs in one basket. Do not start counting on that opportunity as if it's a sure thing. Or like, don't have it be your only thing. Right now, the way things are, you definitely have to take a more volume-based approach, as well as you have to also try to break through the noise in any way you can, but in a scalable, effective way, right? To where you're not putting too much, you're not investing too much, unless it really is an opportunity that you feel like you have a really strong shot for, which I would argue that the job that she just mentioned, she probably has a strong shot for. So you may need to, instead of just hoping, you may need to actually double down into that and figure out some ways that you can creatively ensure you have a stronger chance of being able to secure that position again.
Things stopped at a bunch of gas stations. No one's hiring. 1 second. So anyway, with the job I had, I worked there, that's where I worked last year. And claiming the 3 kids, my taxes would be what I would use to get into a place. Obviously, I've been on a job hunt, because just because I have the money to move into a place doesn't mean anyone's going to let me move in if I don't have a job. So I have been like on the hunt. As soon as I got my W-2, literally the second I saw it, like I put it in H&R Block, did all the things, like filed my taxes. Today, I get a call from H&R Block, and my taxes got kicked back because my kids have already been claimed on someone else's taxes. Now, remind you, he does not pay child support.
Oh.
He does not help with daycare. He does not help with diapers, wipes. Like, I have so many text messages of me begging for diapers or for wipes. for gas money to get our oldest to school.
She said he does not pay child support. Is he on child support? Because I think something came into effect where if a man's on child support, he gets to claim the kids on his taxes. I'm not sure. I'll look it up while we got some time. But that's important to know. And, listen, man, I don't know. She just seems too gung-ho to just come on here and like talk ish about this guy without getting his side. And listen, I've seen situations where men pay their child support and do exactly what they're supposed to do, and they still get called deadbeats because they were put on child support, but the other parent doesn't feel like it's deemed enough. But you put him on child support, so he's just paying what he's required to pay. And so I'm not saying that's her, but I've seen it, and she just seems like she's upset because on one end she at first said, oh, it was the greatest thing that ever happened that he left. But everything logistically about the situation since he left sounds like it's the worst thing that ever happened to her, if you ask me. I don't know if we're going to keep watching this. This is not how we want to start Monday morning. But let me see if that new thing went into effect when it comes to the claiming taxes. Okay, so here's the information. So right now, there has not been any new federal law passed that automatically gives the fathers the right to claim children on taxes. That rumor has been circulating online, but it is false currently. Right now, the IRS rules are still basically that the custodial parent, the parent that the child lives with most of the year, usually gets the right to claim the child. A non-custodial parent, often the father, but not always, can only claim the child if the custodial parent signs an IRS form releasing. Okay. So that still hasn't gone into effect. So it sounds like the father may be doing something that he's not supposed to do. And yeah, she may have a case with that as far as that situation, but I don't know how she would go about it. Y'all, let's go ahead and get into the main story of today, because this is kind of wild.
There are going to be instances where, certain bad players are doing what they shouldn't be doing. And when that happens and that is brought to our attention, we're going to move swiftly to rectify that.
Tonight, the state's housing secretary is responding to a report from our NBC 10 investigators. Last month, we told you about an elderly woman fearing for her safety inside her own home. She was trapped with a tenant who she says.
So by the way, y'all, high level, what we're looking at here is basically the Massachusetts housing secretary is addressing a situation with a woman who has a history of evictions and that was receiving rental assistance. And, it's been wearing on this landlord, and it gets very egregious as far as the implications that befell her because of the situation. So let's just go ahead and get back into it.
Didn't pay rent, damaged her property, and it took more than a year to get her evicted.
But that is not all. Despite a pattern of behavior for more.
Took more than a year to get this person evicted who had a history of evictions and was receiving assistance.
Than a decade. The NBC 10 investigators found that the tenant received taxpayer rental assistance. Tonight, our Ryan Kath is staying on it and going to state leaders for answers. Ryan.
Priscilla, Kenyatta Saunders' history of evictions is no secret. We found a lengthy paper trail in housing court. So before approving taxpayer money, did the state miss that red flag or simply disregard it?
God, I never thought this day would come.
We were there when Jeanette Jackson surveyed the damage on the first floor of her Dorchester home.
Whew, my Lord, could someone really live in this condition?
For the past year, a person she described as a tenant from hell tormented her by complaining to city inspectors about the property, refusing to let people in to make repairs, and not paying the rent.
This is the nastiest thing I have ever seen.
Jackson, who lives upstairs, even took out a restraining order after she says the tenant pushed her on the basement steps.
Wow.
Janet?
Pushed this elder woman on the basement steps. I need to see who this tenant is. That's crazy. And really think about it. It's always funny to me how the tenant doesn't pay any rent, but then always has these claims as far as things that need to be fixed. It's like this could be a really symbiotic relationship. If you pay me the money that I'm supposed to get, then now I have the money to quickly fix these things. But you're not even paying your rent. And then it's like you're just coming up with something to then be able to justify you to not pay your rent moving forward. I always find that amazing.
Hi, Ryan.
When we first met the 76-year-old on a park bench last November, she was
76.
desperate and scared.
What I'm living there, I'm telling you, a lot of days I don't want to get up. A lot of days I don't want to get up out of my bed because this is not a life to live.
The tenant causing all the financial and emotional stress was Kenyatta Saunders. The NBC 10 investigators found evictions all over.
Oh, no. Okay. So I see. She's got bully energy. And this sweet old woman is 76 years old. And another person in her own community done pushed her, allegedly. They said that she allegedly pushed her, put her hands on her. That should never happen. And she's probably not going to have to take accountability for that. And we just let it slide. Because nobody can check this. And it's going unchecked for too long.
Over Boston, stretching back more than a decade. But despite that pattern, we learned Saunders still qualified for a Massachusetts rental assistant program called Homebase. Attorney Sue Schreier handled 3 of her cases.
How does someone with that kind of eviction record for not paying rent continue to get taxpayer rental assistance?
Wow. That's a question I can't answer. I'm shocked. I'm horrified.
It's a question we posed to Saunders when we spoke with her outside of housing court.
So how do I feel about the taxpayers' money being used? I feel a certain way that is being misused by the property owners that are slumlords.
This isn't the only questionable example we've uncovered during our investigation of professional tenants. Last year, we told you about Brian and Nicole Coombs, who received $23,000 of Homebase funding despite more than a dozen evictions on their record.
Hold on. Hold on. So this is a man, and it sounds like he might have a family. And they have 13 evictions on their record. Allegedly. They have allegedly, and according to this article, 13 evictions on their record. And they were still able to receive housing assistance upwards to the amount of $23,000 that comes from taxpayer funds. And this is what we talk about all the time. 13 evictions. And this is in Boston, keep in mind. So Boston, from my understanding, why you would want to be a landlord in Boston, I don't know. But maybe it's people who have had homes for so long that no one wants to buy it from them because it's already expensive in Boston. And then also these landlord-tenant rules are crazy. And we see a lot of situations like this in Boston. This isn't my first situation that I've run across in Boston.
One of the Coombs' former landlords exasperated that while he lost $95,000 and was forced to sell his ready home,
he lost $100,000.
His deadbeat tenant enjoyed the free ride for 2 years inside his property.
Welcome to America. What can I say? Free everything.
What is your reaction to see an example like that?
That's incredibly concerning. I mean, the home-based program is broken in a lot of ways.
Hayden DuBois is a public policy analyst who recently authored this study of Massachusetts welfare spending. Among the findings, DuBois highlighted a steep increase to the home-based budget over the past 5 years.
I'm so tired.
It says Jackson's...
See, and let's get a little bit more granular on this graph. Because look at this. We already know that it's a problem, right? We already understand that is fraudulent and it's just wrong, and you've got good people being affected by this. But look at what this graph says. This graph is showing the increases over time. And, 2026, this year, is pretty much as high as it's ever been. But look at what the proposal is for 2027. That is the highest amount that they've ever had within the last, at very least, more than 5 years. Look at that proposal. How does this stuff get pushed through when you have stories like this and they're proposing to need more money for other people to abuse it and then cost landlords $100,000 that they have to pay? They should give some funding so that they can help these landlords recoup some of their money that they've lost because of their horrible laws.
The homebase budget over the past 5 years.
I'm so tired.
It says Jackson's ordeal in
Look at this
Dorchester
woman.
raises serious questions about program.
Look at this woman, man. Look at this woman. See, you got government, you got this assistance going to that able-bodied man with a family, going to that able-bodied woman who's entitled. And meanwhile, look at this. You have this elder 76-year-old woman who is very much well past retirement age going through all this stress and nobody cares. So you got the young people, the able-bodied and grown men abusing this stuff. And you got people like her who have to take the brunt of it and who have to ultimately deal with the consequences as a result.
Integrity.
How does this happen? How do we let this happen as a society where individuals like that can abuse a system that's meant to be preserved for those truly in need?
Welcome, all of you.
Governor Maura Healey recently appointed Juana Matias as the state's new housing secretary.
That work is taking another...
Before our investigation aired, an agency spokesperson declined a request for an on-camera interview. So we followed up after an event at the State House.
What would you like to say to taxpayers who want to make sure those funds are going to people who need it most and aren't people that are just
need it
the
most
system?
We are fully committed to program integrity. When we are made aware of instances of this nature, we take them seriously and we move quickly to rectify them.
Matias told us the program helped 12,000 families avoid homelessness last year and believes stories like the Dorchester nightmare we highlighted are not the norm.
At the same time, we're going to make sure that if there are ways that we can improve internally our work to be able to prevent this from happening, that we do that as well.
So Homebase removed Saunders from the program last May, and that meant that Jackson had no money coming in from her tenant or from the taxpayer program for months until finally getting the eviction in March. Jackson, who lives on Social Security and depends on rental income to pay her mortgage, estimates the nightmare cost her $80,000.
So it done cost her $80,000. And she basically depends on Social Security. And she's depending on that rental income as well to supplement that. And this is what I was talking about. It sounds like that woman needs some assistance, if you ask me. But instead, she's being abused and nobody talks about it. And that new secretary or whatever, she didn't ask, but the reporter asked her, what do you think is the solution? And I'm going to be honest. They can try to put some laws in or whatever, but people are savvy. People are always going to find ways around laws, especially if it makes it to where they don't have to work that hard. And so what it really comes down to and what the real solution is we need to bring shame back. And that woman should be ashamed of herself, but she should also be shamed in public. And, in every avenue, she should have to face the shame of what she's doing to people and of her abusing programs and being lazy. And it shouldn't slide. And we shouldn't be letting it slide. But we just ignore stuff like this. And we want to focus on things that really don't matter and that we don't have no control over. But yet we got things like this right in our backyard and we're letting people get away with it. I think that's amazing. I really do. It says day one of being in a shelter.
This is day one of us being in a shelter. I took my kids outside to give them a peace of mind. I don't want them to see me uncomfortable, and my goal is to make them as comfortable as possible. As soon as we came back, I put them down for a nap and got straight to work, y'all. Everything I took from my dad's house is literally our whole entire life in here. We will be in this shelter for 3 months, so I'm just trying to get everything together and all of our clothes and stuff situated because I'm gonna have my kids on a routine Monday through Friday when they go to daycare. I feel like the shelter that we're staying in is decent enough for us, especially for 3 months. But during that 3 months, I'm still gonna go to other organizations trying to get us in transitional housing. Because being here, transitional housing is not guaranteed to us, but we still have a chance during this 3 months to get in. But everybody's situation is different. But being that I have the youngest children in here, it's common that I'll be priority on top of the list. My sister left back to South Carolina yesterday. I'm honestly so devastated about that. I will miss them very, very much. Just a few days ago, I quit my job. And honestly, I low-key regret it. But I have a toxic manager who is not understanding of me having children. And she gave me all night shift.
Hold on. Y'all, I need to create a t-shirt that says self-inflicted wounds is a lifestyle. Because I really have some questions already. But then she just threw in another wrench into the equation. Go back to that.
My sister left back to South Carolina yesterday. I'm honestly so devastated about that. I will miss them very, very much. Just a few days ago, I quit my job. And honestly, I low-key regret it. But
just a few days ago, I quit my job. And now she low-key regrets it. So she made another emotional, impulsive decision. And now she regrets it. Let's finish hearing her out.
I have a toxic manager who is not understanding of me having children. And she gave me all night shift and I have no one to watch my kids. So it's like she was going to fire me anyway because I'm on my last written warning. I'd rather quit than get fired. Y'all already know how to help me out. I'm not asking for no money from anyone. All I need is you to help me push my videos out by reposting them, commenting, and leaving a like for your sister.
See, y'all got to listen. Y'all got to listen. She said she was on her last written warning. So she's been getting in trouble at work. But look at how the self-inflicted wounds just compound and compound and compound. And now it's like you want to make all your money on social media. But you quit your job. We can never lose track of the fact that you quit your job. Listen, see, here's the thing that people don't understand. If you've already mentally checked out of your job and it's like you don't care either way to where you're willing to quit it, why not just stay? And then now you have peace of mind. You can just endure it because you know, like, I don't really care either way. Why not continue to get some money? Especially when you have 3 kids. And we need to address that now. Because I don't understand how you're 22 with 3 kids and single. How is this going on? How is this just able to happen? If you're already at this age with 3 kids, do we think it's just going to stop right there? This is how it begins. This is how the cycle begins. Because she said she has 3 and she's single, quitting her job and getting written up at her job all the time. So we can see the track that is going. She's going to definitely, if she's not on it already, it's coming soon. Government assistance. And then you get that little taste of it. And then what you going to do? You're going to say, ooh, if I have another kid, this is what I could be looking at. Ooh, what if I have a 5th, a 6th? Oh, I don't have to be responsible for it anyway. And it actually just improves my life. And, then I just survive with the kids, not raise the kids, just survive with them. And, life is okay. Life starts to come around. And this is the problem. And see, they don't want people talking about it. We have to start talking about it because if we don't talk about it, then how did they know apparently? Because we act like they just don't know. They didn't have the information. Okay, well, I'm going to give you the information. That's crazy. And doing it in today's time now, is even crazier because we're getting back to personal responsibility and the laws are reflecting that. So think wisely. If you're not already in the situation, if you're not already in the position, you absolutely want to second guess that before you just jump out there and start making all these self-sabotaging decisions that moving forward you will have to be responsible for.
Actually, even all right, so quick update. A lot of y'all listening, y'all in them comments, ruthless. But let me give you the update anyway. So the good news is I don't have an eviction on my credit. I don't have it with the courts. I completely avoided that situation. I paid the apartment complex what they needed, completely legitimized my business, got the LLC, got the corporate lease, negotiated with the apartment complex where I'm actually doing rental arbitrage the correct way. And actually I have a tenant coming today, which is really great. So your girl is doing good. I have a 2-1 and I'm going to show you guys what it looks like.
She said rental arbitrage. So I think anyone who has a house would just say, I'm renting out my house, right? She had to put the little spice on the word because as we just saw, when you saw them go through the front door, it looks like she's she's putting her name on the lease of apartments and then allegedly and apparently Airbnb-ing them out or renting them out. So what's the other thing you can do where you subleasing? She's either subleasing or she's doing the Airbnb thing. And I would think the Airbnb thing, since she's got all this furniture in there, that it looks like she possibly just keeps in a storage unit and stages her properties.
So you start from downstairs, so you walk up. So this apartment complex actually calls it like a townhouse because of the stairs. So we have some artwork and then we have the entryway. So you immediately walk to the kitchen area. It's super spacious, right? Love that. Then here's the living room. The nice place about this is that it has the like it's kind of vaulted ceilings, so that's super cute. And there's a patio. So this was considered a day room, but I just put a queen bed in here real quick. So if they have guests, they have somewhere to stay.
Let me get this straight. What is she doing? Ma'am, you about to ruin your life. Didn't you say the last place you tried to do this, you were getting evicted? You got evicted. And then you was able to, I guess, resolve it. She done put an Airbnb in the hood. Imagine you order an Airbnb in a state that you never been to before, and then you go park in the hood and you in gangland. She done she done leased the Airbnb in the hood. So that's the only people that would let her do her little Airbnb and let them put it in the contract. She was like, yeah, and I do Airbnb. Is that okay? They was like, yeah, anything you want, whatever. Yeah, you gonna pay the rent? Yep. Taking all comers. Go stay there if you want to.
And then on this side is, okay, so there's the washer and dryer, and then here's the bathroom. So there's the bathroom, okay, and then here's the master. So of course it has we put the mirror on the wall, so that was kind of cute. Has its own TV with a walk-in closet with some shelving. So I love this place actually a lot better than the other one, but it does have this similar furniture. Okay, so that's my tour. I appreciate everyone who understood what the assignment was. I was just, hustling, trying to figure everything out. People make mistakes. Entrepreneurship is not easy. You just got to figure it out. Sometimes it comes with bumps in the road. And that's why right now your girl is currently stacking and bag snatching. So that's what I'm focused on. I love this whole mantra It's the bag season. So we get into the bag and we snatching it, period.
She done got scammed. And here's what I mean. She done went to one of these Airbnb gurus, right? And they done showed her this, because she called it Airbnb arbitrage. Listen, this is a super risky business. Super risky, not to mention the laws. This can get regulated. You done got this in the hood. People gonna be hearing gunshots while they trying to sleep. Not to mention, it's just not, I don't know if I would trust Airbnb because it's not regulated like a hotel. I think maybe they are regulating it, but it's like, how do I know you done cleaned up everything right? And, just everything. You know what I mean? Like, I think you just trying to make money. Like, and you're just one person. You get a bunch of these, you can absolutely cut corners. And then it's going to come at my expense because people are just trying to make money. But they're not thinking of their reputation and making sure that they're doing good business that will reflect well on them. So, hey, I guess it's working. But it's just, there's so many businesses you could do. Listen, she's going to get some good skills from this. Listen, I'm not saying you gotta fail a lot in business, and then that's how you eventually get good at business, right? And get good instincts for business. So I love to see it one way or the other. I'm sure she's learning a lot of things. This ain't easy. So this will translate into a lot of different areas. But Airbnb, what was the other thing where you could rent out your car too? Toro, all that stuff is risky. And it's oversaturated. How you get into something risky and oversaturated? And there's a bit of overhead. There's a good amount of overhead. I just feel like in this day and age, you don't have to have all this overhead and have a fully functioning, thriving, sustainable business, right? But y'all, we'll leave it there for today. If you like the video, I greatly appreciate it. Only takes a second, and it actually helps out more than you know. And also, if you could hype the video, hype is a new feature that YouTube offers where it helps smaller content creators like myself. And basically, when you hype, it actually pushes us to the extent that it pushes the larger content creators. So you just press the hype button and it shows the points. And since I am a smaller creator, a smaller channel, we get more points per hype. And hype was designed for smaller channels, so that's why. And also, if you go to a video and it's been over 7 days, you probably will not see the hype button anymore. So it's usually best practice to just, when you see the hype button, if you want to use your hypes on me, to just go ahead and hype while the iron is hot. And then also Patreon's link below if you want to see self-improvement content as well. But until then, I'll catch you in the next video.